New Earnestly podcast, Earnestly NBA show here as we record this on Thursday afternoon, March 12th, 2026. Of course, with our guy, NBA author, friend, analyst, Greg Hrinya with us. Greg, how you doing, brother?
Doing well. Thanks so much for having me.
We are officially into the final stretch of the NBA season, I guess, right? 1 month ago for the playoffs.
Yep, we're getting there.
Are you excited?
Yeah. Because I mean, the regular season's been kind of a slog. So I mean, the playoffs this year. I mean, I think next year the regular season will be a little better because you won't have as many teams tanking. But with so many teams tanking this year, it's a little tough to get through the regular season. So the fact that we're about a month away, we're getting there.
The thing was, though, it might have been last week or the week before that when we spoke. I had said that both conferences, for the most part, look static. Mm-hmm. Like even the order looks pretty much, for the most part, it's going to stick. And I think we both agree to that. But then I look at the Eastern Conference, I'm like, wait a second. What's going on here? You got Philly. Well, if you get to the second. Philly's tank, Philly's falling for a little bit. A couple teams are surging here. We get in a second. But the story of the week, of course, we got to talk about it. Bam Adebayo. 83 points, bro. Like, 83 points, bro. Like, this, look at this graphic, bro. Something's weird here. Wilt Chamberlain in 1962 scored 100 to the Knicks. Bam Adebayo, 83 against the Wizards, beating Kobe Bryant 81 against Toronto 20 years ago. That is insane. Wilt, Bam, Kobe. What the fuck? This makes no sense. First off, if it was any guy in the Heat that I would thought would have a chance of even doing something this magnitude, it sure as hell ain't Bam Adebayo. And for the record, let's be clear here, because I think people who are mostly casuals, NBA fans, probably say, who the hell's Bam Adebayo? Listen, this is a top 25, 30 player in the league. So this ain't no scrub. This is a guy who could be maybe a Hall of Famer, down the road. But there's levels to this, bro. There's levels to this. Bam Adebayo is not an aggressive scorer, first and foremost. He averages what? For his career, like 18 a game? This year's averaging 17 a game?
His career high was 41 prior to this game.
Right. So, like, you're thinking, if there's anybody in the Heat roster that would do what you see here in this graphic here, it's a Tyler Hero. It's even Norman Powell I can see doing this. Not freaking Bam Adebayo. But Greg Hrinya, it happened. It happened. Your thoughts on it? Was it legit? There's a lot of back and forth by people saying it didn't look legit toward the end because they were like fouling him and all that stuff. And there's an argument for that also too. I even said that it felt a little Strahan, Brett Favre-ish, with the sack record back then. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it did. I mean, well, first of all, it's a perfect storm, really, of why it happened. I mean, you mentioned Tyler Hero and Norman Powell, but those guys weren't playing.
Right. That's another one, too.
So, I mean, if you look at the Heat roster, they really didn't have many go-to guys that they could throw the ball to and say, go and score. And so they were limited roster-wise. That's first. Second, they were playing a team that had no interest in winning the game. So, I mean, the Wizards are flat out trying to lose. So, I mean, like, it's more Washington Generals than Washington Wizards. So it's a combination of Miami playing a team shorthanded, and then the team that they're going against, they have a top 8 protected pick. They want to make sure that pick stays top 8 protected. I mean, one of the not that I want to get on a tangent, one of the underlying storylines is that Alex Sarr, the center for...
You texted me that yesterday.
I mean, he had 28 points in 20 minutes against Bam, but then they shut him down for the rest of the game because they didn't want to run the risk of possibly winning the game. So, I mean, there's that aspect to it. It's like anything else in society or in sports. Like it's somewhere in the middle. It's not an extreme. It's not like, oh, it's the greatest performance ever, or it's a total Fugazi performance. Like, it was a great performance in terms of like, you can't take the 65 or 70 points away from him. At the end, it did get a little cartoonish with, when you saw guys intentionally missing free throws to get the ball back and stuff like that. It's like, just have him score 70. And that's
bad luck.
That's still an incredible accomplishment. No one's taking that away from him. But I mean, like you said, he's not really known as an offensive player. And he took 22 threes. He took, I mean, he took
41 to 40 free throws.
Three free throws, maybe
40 plus, right? 40 plus, definitely.
Yeah, I want to say it was 43 free throws. And I mean, no team should be shooting that many free throws in a game, let alone one guy. But I mean, look, he set a record for, the most free throws made, most free throws attempted. I believe attempted, but definitely made. So I mean,
he missed what, like 6
he made his
free
throws. So I mean,
he missed 6, right?
6 or 7. So
he could have gotten 90 of all those free throws for the record. I don't know if people complicate, actually consider that. He could have gotten 90.
Or if he had made a couple more of his threes, he could have gotten 90 too. So
you know how ridiculous it sounds, bro? Like, especially when it's Bam Adebayo. And again, resident Heat fan here, diehard fan, 38 years. Okay, been a fan since year 2 of existence of the franchise, so I know what I'm talking about. And I'm very happy with Bam. I'm happy for Bam. I am. And I'm not like a curmudgeon here, but this adds to my frustration with him because I love the guy. The guy, he's a Heat lifer. He'll have his jersey retire when it's all said and done, all that good stuff. He's one of the best Heat players ever in terms of like just the humbleness, the grounded, just the leadership, all that. But I've been saying for years that this guy could be a minimum 25 and 10 guy every season. Minimum. Okay? He has the ability to do this. His teammates have said this. Jimmy Butler himself had said this, I think, year 2 when he was there. Like, Bam's the guy. Like, Bam could be this guy. He needs to take over. And he's thinking again like this. I know it's the Wizards. I don't give a shit to Wizards not. Because if it was the Wizards, then anybody else be doing the same shit too. Also, no one else put 83 points. Okay, so that's not a good excuse. This only adds to my frustration. So did he play tonight, right? I think tonight, tomorrow, right?
Yeah, he played Milwaukee tonight.
Watch him score 17 points tonight against the Milwaukee fucking Bucks.
Well, I mean, the Bucks are going to play their guys. So, I mean, Giannis is going to play. Miles Turner is going to play.
Well, regardless, watch Bam go from 83 to 17 because that's the thing. He'll score a 30-some point game here and there, and then you're like, oh, turn the corner, right? Nope. Go back to being passing the ball again. It's to me more than anything else, it's the passivity of Bam Adebayo that's always frustrated me about him. That's all it is.
Yeah, but also like when you look at him shooting 7 of 22 from 3, like that's actually pretty bad. So I mean, like I'd rather have Norman Powell or Tyler Hero taking those threes. So I mean, part of it is him, I guess, being self-aware that there are better creating options on his team that he's deferring to. But yeah, you're right. He should be more aggressive offensively to the point where he's getting to the line enough to get to his 25 points a game. But if you're accepting the fact that he's a defensive player of the year candidate every year, if he's giving you 17 or 18 points and giving you first team or second team all NBA defense, and there are better shooters on the team, I guess you can't complain about it. But yeah, it's an incredible performance. You can't take it away from him. And look, there was stuff going on in the Kobe game and the Wilt game that, could have been. I mean, I think the Lakers were up by like 14 with a couple minutes left, and Kobe stayed in the game and was still scoring. So I mean, I think I heard that in the Wilt game that there was fouling going on at the end of the game to get them more possession. Yeah. So I mean, like, you can go back and nitpick possession by possession any performance in NBA history. So like I'm not going to be in the business of saying like, oh, it shouldn't count at all. But like you said, there are levels to it, and you take it for what it is. It's an incredible performance, whether it ranks above Kobe's, who knows? I wouldn't say it ranks above Wilt's because there was no 3-point line in Wilt's day. So I mean, this makes it like a little easier to get to that number. But if you tell one guy to be the bulk of your offense, again, it was a perfect storm going up against the right team with a lack of size, and the Heat needed one guy to be dominant because of the guys they had on the sideline.
And here's the thing too also about Bam. Bam is actually, and I'm not knocking him because Bam is actually one of the best two-way players in the league.
Yeah.
He is. He really is. Like, he's one of the best defenders in basketball. He can guard all 5 positions. He's that good. But again, 83, I was torn because like I was happy for Bam, but I'm frustrated. Like, dude, why can't I get you? I'm not even asking for 83 points, obviously. Why can't I get 25 points a game from you every week? Why can't I just get that from you every game? 25 and 10. You're good enough. You're the leader. This is your team now. Jimmy's gone now. This is your team. And still, we get the passing thing. He started the year off pretty great. I remember he was averaging like 20, 21 points a game for the first month, whatever. But then it tailed off. Like, this is frustrating, bro. It's frustrating as a fan because I know he's that good.
But as a fan, you'd rather see the team have success. So, I mean, if they're getting deep in the playoffs with him playing in a tertiary role while Powell and Hero are scoring and he's just dominating on defense, you'll sign up for that too. So I mean,
of course, yeah.
It depends on what the game dictates, what the matchup dictates.
Yeah. No, right. And again, he's a team player. He's been in 2 finals, obviously. Yeah. We were debating this at my job yesterday. Is Bam Adebayo a Hall of Famer, or is he on his way to be a Hall of Famer and all that? And I made an argument, yeah, his numbers are going to be probably good enough. It's been 2 finals. His numbers, now obviously eras aside, because the eras are different than it was years ago. But it is comparable numbers to guys that are already in the Hall of Fame. I think one guy mentioned was Reggie Miller. Now, granted, I know I'm not saying Bam's on Reggie Miller for the record, guys. People always saying that. No, I'm not even close. And nor as impactful, because Reggie Miller was the thing Reggie Miller did great. He was one of the best to ever do what he did great. Just be clear about that. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying the numbers are comparable. So Reggie Miller was an average 18 points a game for his career. Bam's only 1 point below that as a second option for most of his career. So, I mean, I'm just saying that you look at the 2 finals appearances, and people say, oh, he didn't win anything. Bro, you know what great players have not won anything in the NBA? It's an individual award. Like Charles Barkley, Carl Malone is probably top 5 power forwards of all time. None got a ring. None. So I'm just saying that Bam's trek right now, at the pace he's going, I wouldn't put him first ballot, but he definitely is a Hall of Fame guy when it's all said and done.
It's funny. I was watching PTI yesterday. I just had it on the background, and they were talking about the performance. And Tony Kornheiser said, like, he's not a Hall of Fame player. And I thought about it, and I'm like, are you sure that he's not a Hall of Fame player? Like, right now, maybe he's not. But if he plays another 8 years and continues being a solid offensive player and an elite defensive player, like, why is, like, Ben Wallace is a Hall of Fame player, correct?
Right. So, he finally got in. It took a while. And again, it may take a couple cycles to get him in. Yeah. Which is fine.
And that's fine.
But I'm not saying first ballot. I'm just saying he can get in a fairly weaker class, if you will. Although, to be honest, it's really hard to get a weak class anymore because there's a lot of great players coming in the league every so often.
Yeah.
But at the pace he's going, it's consistent. He could be better, yes, but he's still a winning player. Again, he's been to 2 finals. Okay, that's going to help him too. Also, making the argument. And again, his numbers are comparable with guys that are already in there. So, like Reggie Miller, 18 points a game. Bam Adebayo's averaging 17 a game. So that's on target for that.
And he's going to play another 7.
Yeah, easily.
So I mean, if he plays that and continues putting up numbers, then he'll compile numbers that are at or above people that are already in the Hall of Fame. So I mean, we also have to see how those years play out, of course. So
yeah.
So maybe he's not there yet, but I mean, I would say he's on track to get there if he continues at this pace, let's say.
And again, if you're saying Bam is not a Hall of Fame player, not you, but people, then that only serves just how great Eric Spoelstra it really is, because he's doing what he's been doing for the last, post LeBron years with guys that aren't, that you again, they say don't consider all Hall of Fame players. So how the hell is this guy still getting to NBA Finals and still competing every year? That helps Spoelstra's case then, once again.
Spoelstra gets a lot of credit for how he's developed Bam, because I don't think coming out of the draft, Bam was seen as some Anthony Davis type
He
player.
was raw talent, definitely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with
I
potential.
mean, he's turned into essentially a perennial, if not all-star candidate. So, I mean, every year he's in the top 30 players. So, I mean, if he was drafted, where was he drafted? 14 out of
14
Kentucky?
and 15, I think it was. So definitely mid.
Yeah. So, I mean, he wasn't taken with the third pick in the draft expecting him to be a perennial all-star. So, I mean,
Right.
I would say since he was raw coming in, that Spoelstra gets a lot of credit for developing him into the player that he's become.
Yeah, absolutely. The 83 points, obviously, on Tuesday took away from the other big story of the week. Jayson Tatum's back. He looks rusty. You guys like him, but he's had his moments already. And you're already seeing Boston. Now, granted, I don't know San Antonio a couple nights ago, but it's San Antonio. Come on now. They may win the finals this year. Plus, Jaylen Brown got ejected that game the first half.
Anyway. Yeah, I would throw out that game because of the Jaylen
Yeah, I
Brown.
would too also. Having said that, they did beat Cleveland. Beat Cleveland, of course, on the road. He's not fully Tatum yet. Still a little ways to go. But you're seeing already the signs that it's on the way back. And by the time you get to April, that's what's important. That's what was important to timing when he came back. Not just coming back, but when. And we said this, that if you're going to come back and be an impactful player when it matters for the team, March is when you need to come back, not April. You need at least a month to get your legs on you. And you're seeing little by little, he's getting there. He's averaging, I think, maybe 17, 18 a game right now. At least have 20 points a couple games already. So you're already seeing what could happen. Boston currently is now number 2 in the East. They're very dangerous. They are live. I know they lost Vucevic for a month. They get back on top of the playoffs, obviously. But Tatum's return. What have you seen so far with Tatum?
Yeah, I mean, I think that everybody, like when you listen to the podcast, Bill Simmons and Zach Lowe, like everybody's like over the moon with how he's looked. Like I think he's like physically, I think that he's looked pretty good. I mean, he's not shooting the ball well. So, I mean, again, you missed basically a year. So, I mean, that's to be expected. But I mean, shooting 39% from the field and 29% from three, like, athletically, he's moving on the floor like you would hope to see him move. But let's not also act like he walked out onto the floor and was Kevin Durant in his prime either.
Right.
I mean, like his shooting numbers have been bad. I mean, the first game when he missed the dunk, it's like, it is his lift there. But I mean, he looks like he's moving fine. So, I mean, and he would have streaks in previous years when he was 100% healthy where he would go 10 of 24 from the field. So, I mean, it's not like
he's a volume shooter.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like that's unheard of. I think that having him back in the mix, I mean, even if he's not Tatum, you're still adding a 6'9" forward who can shoot threes, who can defend, who can play basketball the right way. And you're just adding another body to a team that was already, a threat to go to the finals just based on the way that they are coached, the way that Jaylen Brown was playing, the way that they defend, all that. You add an perennial MVP candidate. I think you feel pretty good about it, about the way he's looked, even though the shots aren't going in right now. Because I think physically, the missed dunk aside, I think the way that he's moved around the floor has been a positive sign. He's playing 27 minutes a game. So, I mean, like
he's building up slowly. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like he's out there for 12 to 15 minutes. Like they're giving him a healthy amount of minutes. And, and he's had streaks. I mean, again, and I think it was the beginning of the Cleveland game where he hit like 3 of his first 4 of his first 5. Now the overall numbers weren't good, but like he had like a little bit of a hot streak going, and it's like, okay, like I can see the old Jayson Tatum there. So, so I think that they feel good about it, and we'll see where it goes. I think you're right that it was important that he gave himself time to get 20 games in, 15, 20 games before the playoffs start, not 3 or 4, and then go out and have to win 4 out of 7 in a week or else you're going home. So I think that this is a good ramp-up period for him.
It does help, though, the fact that where they stand in the standings right now currently gives us the comfort level to do that. Like will they like the number 1 in the East? Sure. They're only a couple games behind Detroit. Detroit has been playing good basketball as of late. But I don't think that's necessarily a priority either. Just stay alive, and stay in the top 4. And then, because I think they're capable of being anybody, even without home court advantage in that conference when healthy. So I was encouraged by Tim also in the first game against Dallas last week, where he was 4 assists from having a triple-double. He had 15, 10, and 6, I think it was. Like, first game back from Achilles, and you do that? That's pretty darn good. That means he's active.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's a cerebral player. He knows how to play the game. So, I mean, again, you're adding another great player, even if physically he can't do it. I mean, would you rather have him out there or Jordan Walsh? I mean, again, no knock on Jordan Walsh, but I mean, if you're getting 25 minutes of Tatum, I'll take that over, 18 minutes of Walsh and then having to extend White and Brown and some of the other guys.
Yeah. So then I ask you this, Greg. Given the Eastern Conference, and we'll touch on the East in just a second. Overall, if I said to you right now, March 12th, 2026, right now, Boston Celtics right now currently, it might have been the favorites win the East to go to the finals. Do you say yay or nay?
I say yay. I would be surprised. Maybe not surprised. I mean, if everything's equal and all these teams stay healthy, I guess I would be a little surprised if the Celtics didn't win the East, just based on how Tatum's looked. And I feel like there's only 3 other teams that they're really battling with. And I think all 3 of those teams, and we can go through it, but they all have like pretty significant flaws that I think can get exposed in a 7-game series. And I think that Boston is pretty sound in terms of, the only question for them is, can they stay healthy? Can you keep Tatum on the floor and at this pace? Even if you just told me you're getting him for 25 minutes, I would still say that they can get to the finals with that.
Yeah, I don't trust New York. New York, it's funny. New York might have the best roster in the conference, and I don't trust them. Cleveland, you already know the story there. Like, they're playing great now, but show me in April and in May, if possible.
Well, Cleveland, I don't know that they're like doing anything outrageous. I mean, they're 5-5 in their last 10, and they're 40-26, which
well, overall, I mean, compared to what they were, say, 2 months ago, they play much better basketball.
Yeah, true. Yeah. You feel better about them now, and obviously Harden is an upgrade over Garland. But I mean, you're still going to run into the issue of, can you play Allen and Mobley together, because you're not going to have the floor spacing that you need, and are they going to be tough enough to handle some of those bigger matchups? I mean, historically, especially in the front court, they have underachieved in big games and big matchups.
Yeah.
So, like, Boston has won a title. These guys have won a title together. So, and they've done a good job adding around the margins. So, I have the least amount of questions about Boston. The Knicks, I mean, it's,
You already know.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone over this a million times. I mean, 40% of their lineup can't guard. So, whatever team they're playing, if it's well coached, is going to attack Cat. They're going to attack Brunson. They're going to hunt mismatches. They're going to put them in the pick and roll. And it's like, how well can the Knicks hide those guys? That's an issue. Cleveland, we just said, and Detroit, they've got a big shooting issue. And, we said at the time, or at least I said on Twitter, Detroit's probably going to rue the day that they didn't go more.
You said this before the deadline. You said this 2 months from the deadline, and you said it leading to the deadline, and now it stands to be true.
This is the year that you go all in this year, because this is as wide open as the East will be. You're one of 4 teams that has a chance to go to the finals, and you really lack shooting. So, the only move they made was to get Kevin Huerter, who at best is on par with Duncan Robinson. He's a break glass in case of emergency for Duncan Robinson, I guess, but even he hasn't really been in the rotation, Kevin Huerter, that is. Could you have packaged a couple picks and gone out and gotten a more impactful player? Could you have gone to New Orleans and said, we'll give you 3 firsts for Trey Murphy? I don't know the answer to those questions, but I know that other teams made moves with less assets, and, they were just sort of resting on their laurels. And next year, you're going to have Tatum further removed from the Achilles injury. You're going to have Indiana that's going to be locked.
They will be back.
Yeah, locked and healthy with, at the very least, they're bringing Halliburton and Zubats, into the fold with.
And whoever they make it in the draft also too, and have a high draft pick.
Yeah. So I mean, if they are able to fall in the top 4, they keep their pick. Obviously, if it falls at 5, it goes to the Clippers. So I mean, we'll see if they keep that pick. But at the very least, they're bringing Halliburton and Zubats onto the team, which they didn't have last year, or they didn't have for all of this year, and they didn't have Zubats last year. So they're going to be a lot better. And then, a team like Charlotte's going to be a lot better. You expect Atlanta to be a lot better. So I feel like there was a runway here for the Pistons to take advantage of the unique situation of the East. And they sort of just like stayed the course, which is fine. But now next year, you're going to have to compete with 7 teams instead of competing with 3 teams, So, I feel like they missed an opportunity to go all in. And maybe they figured that even that wouldn't have put them there. But then it's like, okay, if that wouldn't have gotten you to a place where you could contend with San Antonio, with OKC, with those teams for a title, then it's like, then what do you need going forward to improve this team to get to that place? So I feel like that was a missed opportunity for them.
I agree with you 100%. Do you think it's still number 1 seed? Hold number 1, you think? I think so. Hold number 1.
They're going to finish the season as number 1. They've got a 4-game lead in the loss column. They've got 18 games left to play, and their schedule is significantly softer than Boston. Boston's got 17 left, but 6th hardest schedule. Detroit's got 18 left, but 23rd. So Detroit still gets to play Indiana, Washington twice, Memphis, Golden State. Who knows what they'll look like when they play them? So I think that they'd have to really go through a rough stretch to lose that number 1 seed. But even still, like finishing number 1, I still could see a number of teams getting past them in the second round.
Yeah, because they'll probably most likely they'll draw. If this holds up where it is now, they'll draw Cleveland, Orlando in that bracket. Now, I would pick Detroit to beat Orlando. Cleveland will depend on how they look. Really, but that could go. That's a 7-game soiree there, probably. All things equal.
Honestly, I'd probably pick Cleveland in that series. But like you said, it would be a long drawn out.
It's also a toss up, yeah.
That you're flipping a coin. So yeah,
and then also you also based on the environment, the fact that the way they've been playing the last couple of weeks now, it feels like Detroit is maybe have capped out a little bit. That stretch of playing the Spurs and the Thunder and the Knicks, that 1 week, remember after at the end of the break. And no, they played okay in a couple of those games, but then it kind of feels like, and maybe I'm wrong here, maybe it's just perception. It kind of feels like that. Oh, well, maybe they shot their load the first 3 months of the year, and now they're kind of like this. Okay, we're back to the middle of the pack again, I guess, a little bit. I don't know.
They've out physical teams like the Knicks, like they've just bullied the Knicks. So, but in the playoffs, are you going to go up against a Cleveland or a Boston where you're game planning for them every night? Are you going to be able to bully them, those teams, to 4 wins out of 7? Like, I don't know that they'll be able to do that, because outside of, look at their starting lineup, for example. Like, Cade Cunningham is a good scorer, but I wouldn't say he's like a knockdown shooter. Duncan Robinson's a good shooter. I wouldn't say he's a great defender. And then you've got Asar Thompson, not a shooter. Jalen Duren, not a shooter. So, you've got 3-4 guys. You're relying on Tobias Harris to be like your most reliable 2-way player. Like, that's asking a lot, because I don't know if they'll be able to keep Duncan Robinson on the floor in certain matchups, because teams are going to target him.
Oh, memories as a Heat fan. Yeah, that happens. That's the thing, for the record.
Yeah.
Now, we started this podcast tease a little bit for this segment, saying that I was on the assumption that the 6 teams we saw in the East, it was last week or 2 weeks ago, were the 6 teams I think will be the 6 teams going into April into the playoffs. And at the time, it was Detroit, Boston, New York, Cleveland, Toronto, and Philadelphia. Well, things have shaken up a lot in the last couple of weeks, because right now, if the playoffs started today, Toronto's a 7 seed, Philly's the 8 seed, Miami's surging at 6, and Orlando is ahead at 5. I didn't see that, bro. I did not see that coming. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and to be fair, like with Philly, like how were we to know that Maxey would be missing 3 weeks?
That
he would get hurt again. Kelly Oubre is now going to miss at least 2 weeks, and he's basically been their best player since those guys went out. So and Paul George, we knew was suspended, but we figured that they could get by with Maxey, with Embiid, and with Kelly Oubre and Edgecombe. Like, we figured that would be enough. But with all those guys out, essentially, and even Edgecombe missed 3-4 games recently. He returned to the lineup last game, and they beat a tanking Memphis team.
Right.
But like, you're going to be hard pressed to find many wins on Philly's schedule the rest of the way. So I mean, like, I don't see any way, unless Embiid comes back. He's not coming back tonight. Unless he comes back Saturday, I don't really see where they're getting a lot of wins from. And then, so they're stuck there essentially. And, can Atlanta and Charlotte climb up? I mean, really, you're looking.
And they're both playing good basketball. I know Charlotte lost a couple games last week, but
yeah, Atlanta, I would say, is playing better. I mean, Charlotte, they lost a couple games, then they've sort of squeaked by Portland and Sacramento. I mean, again, Sacramento's not trying to win. So, I mean, like, squeaking by them is not a game that gives me a whole lot of confidence. So, I mean, I don't know that Charlotte, with the schedule they have left, they have a lot of tough teams on the schedule. Starting Saturday, they're playing the Spurs. So, I mean, I don't.
They did beat them one time, though. They did beat them.
Yeah, they did beat them the one time. That was at home. They'll go play in San Antonio. But, like, Charlotte's got the fourth hardest schedule remaining. So, playing well notwithstanding, I don't see them moving out. I don't see Philly moving out. So, really, you're looking at I guess Atlanta could still move out. They're only 2 games behind the Heat.
No, Greg, this was clear. Top 10 teams right now, you see in the graphic? That's your playoff 10.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's done. I said last week, Wednesday, I think both of you and I agree on this one. Hawks, Bucks, Wednesday night basketball on ESPN. If Bucks lose this game, they're done. Go away. You're done. They lost the game, and they lost. I lost money in that game too. Also, so that's why I'm kind of pissed off. They lost the game, and they had a lead early in the game, then they just wasted away. They're done. They're 7 back of Charlotte now. They're done. At this point, if you're Milwaukee, draft pick. At this point,
and the issue, not that we want to get onto Milwaukee, is that like Atlanta's getting the better of a swap. They're getting the better of the pick between New Orleans and Milwaukee. So I mean, we've looked all year at Atlanta saying, "Oh, that New Orleans pick is going to be great." Like, New Orleans has no incentive to tank. If they keep winning and wind up with the 8th pick, there's still the likelihood that Milwaukee moves up in the draft, and they got to give that pick to Atlanta. Now, they will get the lower of the picks. So, I mean, Milwaukee will still get a lottery pick, but it's probably more likely to be 10 or 11.
Yeah, probably.
Based on the swap than it is to be in the top 3 or 4. I mean, for it to be in the top 3 or 4, both New Orleans and Milwaukee would have to move up. And since they'd both be coming from a place of 7th and 9th, let's say, in the standings, the odds of that are infinitesimal. So I think Milwaukee's kind of just like stuck in the position that they're in.
I think Philly, unless they get some of these guys back in the next week or two, they may fall to 10. I think Charlotte. I think Atlanta. I think Atlanta will leap Philadelphia. Atlanta's playing some good basketball. By the way, that Hawks games to Bucks. Outside the Heat games this year, I watched them. This is the first time I got to watch the Hawks really and lock in. That's a fun team to watch, man. Jalen Johnson's fun to watch, man.
Yeah, he's going to wind up on an All-NBA team this year, I'd imagine. And I mean, Kuminga, unfortunately, has been hurt just as much as Porzingis.
But he was good when he got there. He was pretty good.
In the 3 games that he played, he looked really good. So, right. I mean, if
how long's he out for?
He's been questionable the last couple of games, and he's been sitting out. So, I mean, I don't. It's like a day-to-day type of thing. So hard to say. You're probably just going to get one game where they're like, "Oh, he's available tonight." But I'd like to see him play more because with how they want to defend and then get out on the floor and run. I mean, he's like pretty much tailor-made for them. So I mean, I'd like to see him play a little more. What's going on? They are a fun team to watch.
What's going on with Toronto? So they were the 5 seed and pretty much there all year long, and all of a sudden they've slipped a little bit now. What happened?
I mean, I don't know that anyone anticipated them being the 4th or 5th seed going into the year. This is probably where we would have anticipated them being in the first place. I mean,
true. No, I agree. I had them playing as well.
I didn't have them losing by double digits to the Pelicans last night. But I mean, outside of Brandon Ingram, the question for them going into the year was, where's their shooting coming from? Like, Barrett can score, but he's not a traditional shooter. I wouldn't say Brandon Ingram is like a lockdown 3-point shooter. He's a scorer. They've got a bunch of scorers. Pirtle doesn't shoot. Scotty Barnes is not a distance shooter. So, I mean, they don't really have a lot of floor spacing. So, I mean, they're a hit or miss team. They play hard on defense. They try and, pick up 94 feet and run you into mistakes. But if you protect the ball against them and they don't shoot that well, like they can pretty much lose to anybody. So, where they are is probably like a 6 or a 7 seed. And I mean, Miami is just better than them. So, I mean, I don't know that guarantees Miami's going to finish above them, but I think Miami's a better team.
Because Miami does do Miami things. Sometimes they'll win. Like right now, they won 6 in a row, but they can go ahead and lose 3 in a row very quickly.
Yeah.
Although they are healthy. Well, no, Tyler didn't play on Tuesday, but he is healthy. Norman Powell's missed a couple of games, obviously, but I think it's a good stretch. We'll see. I mean, he's still got another month to go in the season, so anything can happen. Another in-season turnaround I'm very impressed by is the LA Clippers. You remember this? Look at this graphic here. They were 6-21 to start the year, and this even includes them trading James Harden and Zubac, all this stuff. And all of a sudden now they're a game over 500 now, 33-32. That's crazy. Like I wouldn't go ahead and say that Kawhi's an MVP candidate, but he's an MVP type. This is MVP type impact. He's healthy, and again, like Bam, this is frustrating because when Kawhi's healthy, if Kawhi's healthy his entire career, he probably has 3 or 4 rings right now. He's that good a player.
Yeah, but the difference with Bam is that Bam is usually healthy. He just doesn't assert himself offensively. Kawhi usually is injured or not playing. So, I mean, that when Kawhi plays, he's as good as anybody. The issue has just always been getting him on the floor. And to be honest, when they started 6-21, he missed a big stretch of those games.
Yeah, he did.
So, I mean, his absence led to why they started 6-21. I read earlier that this is the first time in NBA history that a team's been 15 games below 500 and then come back to be above 500.
Yeah.
At a point in the season. So, I mean, that's, full marks to them. But I mean, unfortunately, because of the start that they had, even with how good they've been, you're still going to draw, and maybe this isn't fair to those teams, but you're going to draw OKC or San Antonio in the first round, and they're going to be prohibitive underdogs in that series. So as good as the season turned out to be, it's probably going to end in a thud in about, in a 10-day period.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, because the top, I'll even give you the top 5 teams, top 6 teams in the Western Conference will all smash them.
I mean, I don't know about the top 6 teams. I mean, I could see them beating Houston. I could see them beating the Lakers.
Whoa. Really?
Well, I mean, Houston has not played well for a long stretch of time. I mean,
I understand. Not that part. But you think Houston Clippers can beat Houston in the 7-game series?
Sure, why not? I mean, Houston has lost Steven Adams.
Yeah, I get that.
So their big strategy was we are going to miss shots and get rebounds, and they've, I would say, tailed off pretty precipitously. I mean, in Houston's last 2 games against contending teams, I mean, they lost by 36 last night to Denver and 25 to the Spurs. You sandwich a win against the Raptors in there, but I mean, like, Houston's a flawed team. I'm not saying the Clippers are perfect by any stretch, but like that's a competitive series. Like I think that Houston is a flawed team going into the playoffs, without really significant guard play and outside shooting. I mean, basically Durant is going to need to play 43, 44 minutes a game for them to win whatever matchup they wind up with in the first round.
This is crazy because I'm going to bring up now the standings right now. This pops up here. There it is. There it is right there. A little slow here on the uptick. That's the wrong one. I don't want that one. I want this one. Sorry. Production stuff here. All right, so look at this. I didn't see this. I haven't been locked in the stands like I normally am. But okay, so 1 and 2, obviously we know OKC, San Antonio, boom, cream of the crop of the Western Conference. Houston, obviously, I told you I don't trust them. But Denver's at 5 now.
Yeah, but I mean, look, Denver in 3 days could be back in 3. So I mean, like all those teams have the same record essentially, which is why I'm not overly excited about Houston because I don't see them beating Minnesota in a series, and I don't see them beating Denver in a series.
Okay, so let me put you to a little test here then. Okay, because I do this trick with a lot of my guests when it comes to like talking, football, basketball, and NBA. NBA Finals contender. Okay, and now how you can be a little bit different, but I know with me, is I view a contender as is this team going to play in that conference championship game, series rather. So of these teams in the Western Conference, how many teams in this conference do you see playing in this year's Western Conference Finals? I only see maybe 3, maybe 4.
I would say 4. I would say OKC, San Antonio, Denver, and Minnesota. Those are the
same 4. Me too.
Those
same 4
that could play for a title. Let's say.
Yeah, same 4. I'm with you also too. We also agree that these 10 teams here, the top 10 teams are the 10, right? We agree with that, right?
Yeah, I mean Memphis is blatantly tanking at this point.
Was it 10 back now? What's the number? Is it?
Yes. Yeah. So I mean,
8 back. Yeah.
Like you look at Golden State, like even if they want to go into a soft tank and just shut Curry down for the rest of the season, which they might very well do, with no Jimmy Butler already, they can't really move. Like the lowest that they can go is 10. So they're locked into a play-in. Although I wouldn't be surprised if Golden State's like, we'd rather just get bounced in the play-in and take our chances in the lottery because they're not going anywhere.
They would play
or no Steph.
Well, they would play Portland first, and Portland win that game. Portland win that game.
I mean, not only will Portland win that game, I don't even know if Golden State would want to win that game.
Yeah,
they might want to. Because Golden State might only win, 2 or 3 more games the entire rest of the season, assuming Steph doesn't come back. Yeah. And I mean, the report yesterday was he's going to be out another 10 days, which takes him.
Oh boy, forget that.
Which takes him out 5 more games. But I don't think he's going to play again this year. I think that when they keep saying, "Oh, he'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks," that's just PR talk for letting the fans know. Oh, he might come back. Buy your tickets. He might come back, or we might still have a chance. But the reality is,
which is bullshit because especially too when you have a TV game like for example this past Saturday, Thunder Warriors Saturday Night Basketball, no Steph. And I'm not saying Steph's not hurt. I'm not sitting to say he's doing that, but it's bullshit, bro. I can't stand the crap. I can't stand. This is why the NBA gets a lot of criticism too. Also, no one's trying anymore.
Yeah, well, they have a very watered down regular season, and that's the problem. But the playoffs are going to be amazing once they start in a month. But you just have to get through the month to get to those playoffs.
Well, as you said earlier, get to the slog.
Yeah,
get to the slog of the season.
Yeah. And this year is a little different too, just because the draft is so deep. There's 7 or 8 guys that could all be all-star caliber players that teams are looking at it, and like Memphis, they're we've won 23 games. We don't want to win anymore. We don't want to finish the season at 32 wins, like where Golden State is. We want to cap out here and take our chances in the lottery and maximize where we can pick. Which,
by the way, next week we do the show. I'm hoping to do Tuesday if possible. I want to discuss. I want to carve out some time talk a little college, like a little light preview on the bracket.
The conference tournaments are going on now, and the bracket coming out. So,
but I want to spend time on 2 things. Obviously, quick predictions on the brackets and win the Final Four of that, and then also you mentioned 7, 8 guys that can turn teams' fortunes around in the future in the NBA. I want to focus on which of those 7, 8 guys you identify as those guys who could do that on the show next week. So I'll save that topic for next week's show. One more thing we got here. I want to play a clip. It's from Nick Wright's podcast, What's Right, and he made the case why Nikola Jokic is now ahead of Kevin Durant on his all-time list. He has Jokic number 11, I believe. Here's his take as to why.
And I think this is fair when it comes to all-time rankings at the ceiling you can be at with 1 title. There are listen, Wilt, who's again not on the list but would be, only has 2. Dream only has 2. If he gets a second one, then we start having a real Jokic versus the Steph, Shaq, Dream, Bird group. That's where that's the neighborhood in which he lives. But so he right now would be 11. And so again, which 13 was Durant, 14 was Giannis. So those guys would drop to 14, 15. And then so this is a tricky one.
All right. So basically he's saying Jokic in his opinion, right now, as we stand here, is on the edge of being a top 10 player all time. Mm-hmm. And if he wins another ring, that puts him down the conversation of probably leapfrogging guys like Larry Bird, guys like, not saying past Larry Bird, definitely, but it's like you're in that conversation now because based on his list, I'm sure on my list, those guys on the bottom 10 on my list. So, where we don't talk a lot, maybe a little bit in the show recently, but we don't talk a lot of nostalgic basketball a lot. And I don't know how big NBA fan you are beyond certain years. So I want to tread lightly here. But do you, first off, let me ask this to start this off. Do you even have a remote list in your head of who you consider top 10 all time or 15?
A loose list, but like I don't have like a definitive like.
But you at least have one in your head.
Yeah,
like, okay.
So like you go MJ, LeBron, Magic, Kareem. You know, but again, not maybe necessarily in any order. Maybe
right, of course. But that's close enough, though. That's close enough, though.
And then Bill Russell and Wilt, and you're probably looking at Bird and
Kobe, Steph, all those guys,
Oscar, and
right.
whatnot. But
here's what I'll say about the first take, because the take Jokic and KD. Mm-hmm. I agree with them. If I'm looking at better career, based on accomplishments, based on just everything that's played out, how they played out the career, Jokic is one ring. We discussed this on the episode we did when we talked about Dirk. Sometimes certain rings are weighted heavier than others. KD's 2 rings with Golden State has very little weight. I'm sorry. I hate to say that. It sounds bad because it is a championship. He's a champion. But what we're talking about the weight of the titles. Jokic's one title. It is what it is. Is this much more impressive than KD's 2 in Golden State? End discussion. It's not that KD literally played on one of the greatest teams in history of basketball. Arguably greatest team in basketball. Arguably. Okay? For 3 years. So I agree with him on that point. Where do you stand on that one? I'm going to get to the next part of the topic. Go ahead.
Yeah, all championships are created differently. Dirk's one title to me is worth more than either one of KD's titles. He hopped onto a 73 win team, and you can say how good Cleveland was those years and how he was the best player, more so than Clay, more so than Steph, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, the title stuff means very little to me because, again, not all titles are created equal. So I mean, Jokic having one title and KD having more wouldn't even factor into my decision making in which player I would say is better than the other.
Had KD won one in OKC, maybe have a different conversation.
Yeah, totally, 100%. But it's like with LeBron, his title in Cleveland against that 73 win team means more than the titles that he won in Miami.
It does. Question. I say all the time.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes. So I mean, I don't look at some players not having won as shame on them because it's all circumstantial. I mean, if some of these guys banded together and formed a super team and just had an unfair advantage, like in KD's case, I'm not gonna weight that the same as like I said, Dirk. That's the best example that you can give.
Yeah. Obviously you have a loose list, a top 10. I don't know if you have a loose list in the teens, but would you have Jokic that high at 11? Not saying you have to. You have to lock him in there, but
look, if he plays 4 or 5 more years, I mean, he was, if not an MVP candidate for 5-6 straight years, more so than KD was. So, I mean, I have no problem putting Jokic above him. I mean, you're probably not putting Jokic, or I'm not, above Hakeem, but
no.
Because Hakeem was always such a great defender. But, I mean, could he be 10? Could he be 11? Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean,
I think Jokic and Hakeem is pretty neck and neck.
He's arguably the best offensive player of all time, Jokic. I mean, the reason why I would still rank some of those guys above him is because of how good those guys were on defense versus, I mean, Jokic is not a good defender.
No, he's not. The second part of the conversation is about okay, one more title, looking at top 10. So I'll run through my list. My list is not, I actually have a list. Now, your list is not too far off of mine. So yeah. I have the same guys. Now I have an actual order though.
Mhm.
1 through 10. It's Jordan. It's LeBron. It's Kareem. It's Wilt. No, Magic. Wilt.
Yeah.
That's the top 5. Then my 6 through 10 is I know it by heart too, so it's crazy. Russell, Duncan, Kobe, Bird, and Steph.
Okay, so I would have Duncan and Hakeem also in my list. I wouldn't have Kobe top 10.
Really?
But I mean, again, saying a guy is a top 15 player of all time is not knocking him.
No, of course. But the Kobe stands are the Kobe stands are the Kobe stands. They'll listen to this podcast and say, "Who's that white boy on the screen?" And they're gonna try to try to dox your.
Okay,
I'm joking.
But he's the 12th best player of all time.
No, but the thing, what they don't understand is that a lot of people agree with you though on this. That's not a hot take though, because there's a lot of people who don't have Kobe in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
More than realize. That's not a hot take. So, yeah. So okay. So like, to me, the interesting part of my top 10, 15, 20 list, it's more fun to debate 11 to 20 for me now, because the 11 to 15 part, that's the toughest part of the list, in my opinion, because then that's where all the Shaqs hibernate. That's where Jokic now hibernates. Giannis at one point was there. He might be still there, but Giannis is in that conversation. Guys like that, Jokic, you mentioned there, Hakeem Olajuwon, same thing. Dr. J, maybe, that's where it gets interesting though.
Yeah.
So I'm not, even as good as he is, Jokic, I'm not in a place where I can put him over Shaq yet. I'm not there yet. Shaq has 4 rings, number 1. Number 2, the impact of Shaq on both sides of the ball for record.
Yeah.
Like you said.
No,
so
Shaq was a dominant force for a long time in the league.
Right. The highest I can go with Jokic is probably 13. Because I still put Olajuwon in him. It would go Shaq, Olajuwon, then Jokic. Now, if Jokic not the title, then we have a conversation coming up here.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably put Hakeem ahead of Shaq only because I feel like the titles that Shaq won, he had more help than maybe Hakeem had. Granted, you could say that's debatable, but
I debated that for years because I'm a big Olajuwon guy, and for years I've always said Olajuwon had a Shaq. But
I mean, again, we're talking like 8 versus 11. We're not saying like, oh, this guy sucks and this guy was great. We're like nitpicking
great guys, 1
or 2 spots in a ranking of thousands of players. So,
yeah. But it's interesting. It's an interesting debate though. With that list with Jokic, because Jokic, he gets 1 ring, it gets really complicated. Now, having said that, do I think he wins another title? I'll be honest, I have my doubts now, because with the Wemby and the Wemby surge has changed things. Because San Antonio's right now is better than Denver.
Yeah,
I don't think people realize that they're way past Denver. And there's a world right now that is gonna sound weird saying. No, that's not weird. I think we're living in a world where right now I'm okay saying that Wemby might already be the best player in basketball.
Yeah, I mean, if as I always say, if he can stay healthy, he's as dominant a player as there is because of how good he is on defense. I mean, he's a defensive player of the year if he stays healthy, and he can score 40 on offense too. So
right, because they're not better than San Antonio right now. They're not better than OKC. And then it becomes a mishmash of the Minnesotas and whatnot, and Minnesota and Denver is almost even in a sense.
Well, I mean, the issue with Denver really is that they just haven't been healthy for enough of a stretch throughout the entire season. I mean,
True.
like Aaron Gordon is their, outside of the 2-man game with Murray and Jokic, Aaron Gordon is the most important player, and he's always hurt. That's why they probably beat OKC last year and probably win a title last year if he doesn't get hurt. But
it's very possible.
But he gets hurt. He has the same injury again this year. He came back from it, but he just came back. We'll see, and Cam Johnson's been a disappointment, and Peyton Watson's hurt, and Christian Brown's been hurt for a big stretch of the season. So, I mean, like, they haven't had their full complement of guys, and I don't know that they'll get enough reps in time for that to matter in, like, what are going to be very competitive series out West.
Well, it was a big win against Houston last night. Gordon had 0 points, though. 0 points for 2 minutes.
Yeah, although like you look at most of their guys, I mean, like I think Cam Johnson played 25, Gordon played 22. Like I think that game was pretty much out of reach for a long stretch of it. So I would also say that Jokic has not been typical Jokic since he came back from injury. His turnovers have been pretty high. His shooting efficiency hasn't quite been as good. I mean, his numbers are still good, but I mean, in terms of like he was playing at like an otherworldly, like analytical level when this year started. I would say he's come a little bit more back down to earth, even though he's still putting up good numbers.
Yeah, he might be still hurt.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, last night, 16, 12, and 13, and then 5 steals.
Yeah.
That's the guy who's about top 10 probably. Who knows?
Yeah.
So anyway, but interesting debate. We'll see how it plays in the years to come. We'll obviously be able to talk about that. Anyway, Greg, good job as always, man. Why bother asking about plugging anything? You have nothing to plug. You don't want to plug anything.
Nothing to plug.
Just follow Greg on X at Hrinya on NBA as GHRINYA on X. I'm on X as well too at E7. The Earnestly NBA show, of course, every week throughout from now through the end of the season. And we'll talk to you guys next week.